guys, so it's time to start preparing dinner. It's way later in the evening. We've rested and the boys are still outside playing. So I want to start making dinner early so that the boys can also like sleep early, because now we are preparing for like the opening school routine whereby they sleep like by 7 p.m. They've already gone to bed, like they've eaten, we've done our devotion. So right now I just want to start preparing dinner, which is chapati. It's gonna be pumpkin chapos and Mbaazi. I don't know how Mbaazi is called in English. Is it cowpeas? I'm not like quite sure, but let me get into it. Let me show you everything that I'm preparing and then we get started with cooking. So guys, these are all my ingredients and everything I'll be using to cook dinner tonight. So starting from here, these are the vegetables. I will be having the dania, the eggplant, there's some carrots over here, onion, garlic, tomatoes, there's a piece of the red bell pepper, and then the green bell peppers. Then over here, this is the mbaazi I told you. So I want to just wash it and put it to boil. This is the pumpkin for the chapatis. I also want to wash it, cut it, put it to boil, and then sugar and salt just to put in the chapos. Then this is the cooking fat I use. I'll be using cowboy. If you know, you know. Like, this is the mother of all cooking fats. If you want your chapos to taste yummy, delicious, just try using cowboy for making your chapatis. Then the rest of the ingredients here will be the coconut. Remember I said we'll be having the coconut mbaazi. So put the desiccated coconut and the coconut cream in the chapati, and then there's a tomato paste over here, and then this is the mixed spices from tropical. It's not focusing. Yeah, mixed spices. This is paprika. I love paprika. And then this is the turmeric. And now we have our dark soy sauce over here. This is the wheat flour I hadn't mentioned. Yeah guys, so this is everything that I'll be preparing for dinner tonight. So let's get on with it. I'll begin by thoroughly washing the cowpeas or the mbaazi. We are yet to establish what they are called. So I'll wash them thoroughly and then I'll be putting them to boil. So I'll just use tap water and make sure that I rub in between my hands about 2 to 3 times, and then they'll be cleaned and I'll be putting them on the stove. Once I'm done placing my Bazi on the stove for them to boil, I'll now start preparing the malenge. I'll slice it into pieces that are manageable, and then I'll remove the seeds and the skin or the layer that is usually at the middle of the pumpkin, and then I'll be washing them and putting them to boil. The malenges do not take a lot of time to boil, just a few minutes. Pumpkin seeds have a lot of health benefits. I know a lot of people dry them and then fry them in olive oil with some honey, which you can now eat like roasted nuts, the way you eat nuts. So they are very healthy. You can consider doing that if you've never known. Instead of throwing them away, you can just put them to dry and then you shallow fry them in some olive oil, and then you put some honey and it'll be good to go. Once they're done cooking, I usually use my blender to just blend them to make them more softer. But today, my blender decided it was the day that it was not boarding. I really tried even to check the buttons, thinking it was off, but no. So I just resorted to using a fork, which got the job done. So the next step now is to begin mixing, and I usually put both sugar and salt in my chapatis. I cannot give you the precise measurements, but I just put what I feel is good for the portion that I'm making. But what I usually do is I put 1 tablespoonful of salt to 2 tablespoonfuls of sugar, so that is 2:1. So when I put 1 tablespoonful of salt, I'll put 2 tablespoonfuls of sugar. I feel that balances the taste very well. Like the chapati is not sweet and it's not again salty, it's not there. Also, our pumpkin was very sweet because it was very ripened, and it added more flavor into the chapati. So right now I'm just putting the mixtures together, and then I'll be adding in some flour and then putting my pumpkin, and then I'll be mixing all that together like you'll be seeing me do. Now I'm adding in my melted cowboy into the flour, and then I'll begin kneading. No measurements here, just put what you feel is enough for you. So I'll mix that well together, and then I'll start kneading my flour, adding water and more flour until I get the amount of portion that I want for my chapatis. I want to knead a portion that will be enough for us to eat for dinner, and also the boys can carry some for school and some to be left for lunch. My dough is now ready, but I'll put it aside to rest for about 30 to 45 minutes. So I'll just put it back in the bowl, put a little bit of oil, rub it all around, and then cover it with a cling film, and then put a towel on top just to allow it to set. The Mbaazi is ready. Like I said, it doesn't take much time to boil when you're using the gas. And my sister was helping me with preparing it. So it's just sauteing the onions together with the red and green bell peppers first. And then we will follow that with the carrots. We like the carrots crunchy, and no one like in my house likes overcooked carrots, so we like them a bit crunchy. That's why I put them much later so that they do not overcook. After 2 minutes, we'll pour in the curry powder, then stir. Then now we will add in our tomatoes, and then cover that for a few minutes, and then once the tomatoes are cooked, we proceed to adding our mbaazi, and then we'll have that like boil for about 5 minutes. Then we'll now continue with adding the rest of the spices, which is the mixed spices that also has some garlic. That's why you didn't see me use raw garlic in the beginning. Then we'll put in our paprika and then our turmeric. We'll stir that and then add in the dark soy sauce, which accentuates the flavor of this mbaazi. Then now we'll follow up with the coconut milk and then the desiccated coconut. Then we'll let that boil for a few minutes. Then add salt and the coriander, and our meal will be done. I'm telling you, the kitchen is smelling so yummy. The food is smelling so delicious. It's now time to begin making my chapatis. My dough has rested for about 45 minutes, and I must say it came out very well, very soft, and I just needed it for a few minutes just to get like any air inside of it. So the process here is self-explanatory, just dividing your dough into balls and then rolling it into circles, and then you apply oil, and then now you begin cooking. But a tip I can give here is, if you've mixed your flour well, you will not need to use flour when you're rolling. Like, I learned this tip when I went for training with some women from my church, and that's when I learned that instead of even using flour when you're rolling your balls, you can use the oil so that your chapatis stay softer and for longer. So the longer you keep them, they will not harden. A challenge that most people face when their chapatis slip over. So this process is self-explanatory. I'll just divide my dough into balls, and then now I'll apply oil, then now roll them into circles. So I'll just be using a tablespoonful of my melted cowboy on every ball of dough that I've cut, and then now I will roll it into a spiral, just like you'll see me doing in this video. Like, it's very self-explanatory. And then now I'll stretch it a little bit, and that will be ready. So guys, enjoy watching the rest of the video as we make the chapatis. Also, don't be pressured. You don't need to make the perfect circles. But if your dough comes out well, you'll have no problem in making perfect circles for your chapatis. So at this point, the circles do not need to be perfect because we are rolling them. We just need to spread the flour, to add in oil, and then now roll it into a spiral shape. So it is the next step where now your chapatis need to be a perfect circle. So guys, enjoy watching the rest of this video, as I'll be doing everything slowly with no rush so that you can get to see how we do it. For me, I usually put the oil on top instead of like the bottom. This is just how I learned, and I have really tried to like put oil at the bottom of the chapatis, but I find myself using a lot of oil, unlike when I pour it on top. So this is what works for me. I don't know about you. How many of you put the oil like below instead of above when you're cooking them? For me, putting oil on top works. That's how I learned from my mother. I guess everyone learns from their mother. This is what I was taught and just stuck to it. These chapatis were so soft and flavorful because of the pumpkin, and the food was deliciously tasty and delicious as it looks on that video. We really enjoyed ourselves. This is a meal that my family can eat every day. So thank you so much for watching. If you've watched until this far, I truly appreciate your support. Let me know in the comment section on what you think about today's meal. Let's catch up on the next one. Goodbye.